So, well, if he only cares about ACC and not other drivers, what do you expect? Plus, I did say what I did say to him. I was going to help him out, get things going, and then I would move on. G has now kicked me out of most things. Plus, I won the Clios and I still no prize from them. All bullshit, if I'm honest. I'm sitting here for 3 hours, not being paid for something I'm not enjoying. It's boring. Why? That's why SimPlay is better. Plus, the Prolapse boys have their own choices, and it's stuff they don't like. Green Pie's left too, and I wonder why.
Oh god, it's like fucking sagas, man. Jesus Christ.
He's just being petty and pathetic. So I was just like, I'm not interested, you know. I gave him all the thumbnails he needs, and I've left. You know, I've done my end of the bargain. I don't need to do no more. So, and if he thinks he can just get new people and replace people, then fine, do whatever. You know,
you got to have a life as well, Dan. I mean, you focus on SimPlay. You do other things outside fucking sim racing. You know.
Exactly. That's why. That's with Matt. There for an opinion or something, you know. And I was like, that's fine. And then I ended up doing more and more anyway, you know, which Matt never asked. I just did it, you know, out of my own back. So that was what, and Matt appreciated it, and I appreciate all the hard work he does for SimPlay. He's been struggling, so I've got more involved. So
at the end of the day,
it's so beautiful, such a speech.
Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But a community like this, with everyone fair, we're all tight, we all know each other, we all join parties and we get on. It's just not like that in SimZone.
Right, it's the same as the way it was with fucking Motive. You got all sorts of fucking sundry joining, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. This is a nice community. All of us are sat here doing a practice session, having a laugh and a giggle, you know? And then next week, it'll be like completely different other people, you know? There'll be Argent in here, or Fury in here, Peaceful, all of us are getting on. And I also think this is run so much better. It's just run better.
It's so nice.
Hey, sun shines on a dog's ass. The problem with G's always been self-centered and selfish, hasn't he? I think he's a guy that always. I think he's a guy that's always been used
to. Sorry, carry on, Kelly.
Carry on, Kelly.
No, it don't matter. He just
self-centered and blah blah blah. Yeah, he's a young fella,
he's always
right?
Been like
as well, at the
Motive.
end of the day. What, 18, 19 years old. What do you know? You know, fuck all at 18, 19. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think he's got money as well, and I don't think he needs to.
Well, that's the reason I stopped commentating at Motive, because me and Andy kind of just sort of like, I didn't, you know, we just different ways, and then I just couldn't trust G. There was something about him from day one that I don't know. I just felt like that, you know.
G's always like here, there, and everywhere when he wants things, you know. When Motive went down, he kept joining parties with me, and I joined parties with SimPlay. And he was very pally, very like, oh guys, let's play this. Oh guys, well done. Oh, I'll help you with this. I'll help you with that. And then as soon as he started SimZone,
gone.
We never heard from him.
Gone.
We never heard from him. But he expected us to like and subscribe to the channel, watch the videos, sign up, and all this stuff. But he would never interact, you know? It's just like...
Commentating there was like pulling teeth.
It was all there. Yeah. It was all, like you say, we were in the party, me and him were playing Apex together. It was you and him that got me on Apex. And then, like you say, the minute SimZone started, you just didn't hear from him.
Yeah. And the thing is, the thing about Motive and SimPlay as well is they're owned and run by people who commentate, you know, who are enthusiastic, who love racing, you know.
Stop it, Daniel.
Matt and Andy are very... Andy's a cock, right? But he's a very, very good commentator.
He's committed to what he does. He's set up a channel and he wants to run that channel.
However much he's been a cock previously, he knows how to run a commentating. He knows how to commentate. He knows how to be a showman as such.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him. You know?
Yeah.
His driving, on the other hand, is a little bit questionable, but that's just driving. But that's the difference between SimPlay and Motive. Like, you have that commentator who's passionate about the channel, who wants to make it good. Matt is there. He's going for it. He's like, so. At some point, he will be racing himself in F1. So
yeah, boy.
I commentate on him. But that's the difference. G doesn't commentate, so he doesn't have that passion in the channel because he's getting people to commentate for him who aren't interested. You know, they haven't got a dealership with him. They haven't got an agreement. They're just like, yeah, and we're here at Spa Francorchamps for round 2 of ACC GT3s.
Yeah, I heard that commentator the first week when Mazda and Jamie signed up to their ACC, and I'm sat there and I'm like, yeah, all right. The thing is, like, as I sat there and I did it for Motive once ACC, and as you can't get as excited on ACC, but you look at what it is, right? It's an endurance event, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's not half-hour sprints where you can fucking shit, he's making a move and look what's fucking happening there. Yeah. You have got to sort of dial it down a bit and read the situation. But I listened to that bloke at SimZone, and I just think you're as dull as dishwater.
Yeah, you're ready to
like, even when there was an overtake, you know, give us a bit of something. It's just like, oh, look, Big Boy Braze is overtaking Mazda. And it's like, oh yeah, we all feel the passion behind this manoeuvre. Fuck me.
I think last night we had about 20 people watching at once for the Pro-Am. And just because me and Matt are just like, oh my god, John's dropped it! Ah!
Communicate! I thought my mother was talking to me at one point. Communicate!
No, if your mother was talking, you'd be like, oh, steady.
Oh, steady.
But no, that's the thing. It's just, we have passion on SimPlay and Motive. However, like we said, how much Andy's been a cock, he still puts that passion in his streams. Yeah. He still puts that passion in Motive. He still believes that he can make a good channel out of it, which is fair play to him.
Fair play, yeah, exactly.
He's never done anything wrong to us. He's just been a bit of a cock. So, you know, and then the SimZone is just boring. I sat and watched Cleo's for 3 hours, and he paid me for that. Gee, he only fucking managed to get me to commentate so that I would get paid for it. So I was like, I can't be asked to do it. And he said, I'll pay you. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then,
bloody hell.
Yeah, he paid me money. But guess how much he paid me for 3 hours?
Go on.
15 quid.
You've got more on Street Corner.
Fuck that.
Look at insult that is.
You've got more on Street Corner though.
Exactly, you know.
I've seen state on you.
You fucker. But it's pointless for me sitting there for 3 hours commentating on Clio's to be paid £15 for something I don't want to be there and do. I thought it was a bit insulting, to be honest. I mean, if we were talking like 30 quid, £10 an hour, you know, I would have probably been like, yeah, all right, that's fair. But no. They're struggling for commentators, like, fuck.
But like you say, the
racing... do ACC then?
Well, they've got rid of the GT3s, Dan was saying, on Project Cars 2.
Yeah, they've been them.
So what is it on PC2 then? What do they do on PC2?
Clio's and touring cars. But they're barely streamed.
Right.
Clio's are not sponsored by Silent X Energy anymore, but the ACC servers are.
Was that Silent X Energy something to do with G then in the first place?
Yeah, that's G's sponsor.
Yeah, right.
He's sponsored by them for real racing. He's sponsored by them for real racing.
Right, Kelly, right. I'm going to chuck us into our own little chat ready for tonight. Lads, best of luck tonight, everybody. Just to double check, Martin, you not no double points, just double. Right, no worries, then, boys. Best of luck, all. Right. Right. What? Alright, can you turn off then?
Yeah, you're not screaming good there.
It's on.
Right.
Go for a slash.
Alright, there you go.
2 seconds, Kelly. I've not got my headset on. I'll be with you in a minute.
Yeah.
Right, boys, make sure you keep noise down now 'cause I'm streaming. Come and get them quickly.
Have you on the gate? Have you gate? Yeah.
Who wants the last jam donut? Rock, paper, scissors. Cookie cake.
Who gets the donut? Who's had a donut?
What?
Me. Why don't you just get both fucking same?
Because then there'll be one cookie cake bar left and there'll be one donut left. What is it, donut? James had a cookie cake bar. Now there's 2 cookie cake bars each tomorrow night. We did rock, paper, scissors already. You're not having a bubble gum late tonight. Or is it all done wrong again?
What?
What have I done wrong again? Right. Here we go.
Not difficult. But no, I'm it wrong again for saying something.
Jesus.
So you, Kelly?
My thingy was a bit loud.
Ah. You want Beth? Yeah, thought so.
Notepad. I haven't got a notepad. Might need to write something down.
I wrote one thing down yesterday.
Kelly, blocking Joe.
How did you guess? What, Beth? You what, Beth?
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Alright, of course you didn't.
But yes.
No, I didn't.
Kelly blocking Joe. Was that what it was?
How did you guess?
Because I've had contact from Welshie. Not Welshie. Peaceful.
Peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the only thing that went in last night? Wasn't much else happened.
The only thing I had. The only thing I had.
Oh, Ugbar. Yeah.
I mean, Ukbar went in. Peaceful's been sent to food from Phil today.
Right.
But the only thing I picked up was you and Joe. I didn't really pick up much else. But that's a hard one to call. I don't know how they're going to call that one.
Well, I've just sent footage to Peaceful. When I look back on it on the stream, it looks
worse.
a lot closer in the stream than I thought it was. You know?
Yeah, I think it looks worse on the stream because I went on and I said I can get their onboard footage of both cars.
Yeah.
And I did. And there's not a lot of movement
on the stream, doesn't it?
Looks worse on the stream. There's not a lot of movement from your wheel, but on the stream it looks like you've come right across him.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. See what
I
they
only
decide.
moved once. You know, I only moved once, and then I went back to my braking zone.
Yeah, no. Like I say, we'll see what they decide.
I mean, if I was looking at it myself, I would say I was being hard. You know. But then I wonder what Joe would have done with it if he'd got down the inside, because it would have left him at a very strange angle for turn one. You know?
Yeah, Joe was struggling last night anyway, wasn't he? Let's be fair.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Although they were, which, you know, I've nothing wrong with. They were playing tactics to start with. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and fair play to him, you know, because we would have done exactly the same.
Yeah,
or we
100%.
were doing the same because Nicky backed off in race two. He backed off to back everybody up. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, it's what you do, isn't it? But,
That's it.
Yeah.
Who are we missing? There's no Andy yet. There's no Phil. There's no Gary. There's no Craig.
Yeah.
Emo guy might be with us for tonight.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Mazda might be back next week.
Who?
Mazda.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realise he was not going to be here.
He got put on afters. Got put on a later shift. Somebody's left the workplace and he got put on a late shift, and he got tempted with a pay rise to go onto it. So just with him and Mrs. He didn't want to do it because obviously he's got a young family and he wanted to stay at home with Mrs. and things. But the pay rise, it was a good enough one. But then he's texted me today saying that, look, I could be back as early as next week. I said, how come? He said that people are unhappy that he got a pay rise. Because he's, even though I think, what you're complaining at, if you've all been asked to go on to this shift and you've not wanted to do it and he's done it, you may have got a pay rise if you'd have asked the right people. Do you know what I mean? But so they're on about just putting him back onto his normal shift, and he says he could be back next week.
All right, okay. Cool. I'm more excited about him being back than I am Emo. Oh,
yeah,
of course, I'm Stuart these days, aren't I?
Yes,
so
you
I
are.
can come down an Emo, can't I?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Yes, I can. Of course, if he breaks the rules.
I think, if you want my honest opinion, he's been brought in as a ringer.
As a ringer?
Yeah.
What, with Andy and fucking Disco?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. We'll have to fucking keep an eye on that.
I think he's not necessarily to, take people out, but
just to get in the way.
Get in the way of Dan. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Well, I can quite see that happening. Because they are a bunch of sly fuckers, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know so much Disco. I don't really know how to take Disco. I haven't really sussed him out completely. He seemed like a really nice guy at first, but I'm not 100% sure. But we know Andy's a slippery fucker.
Yeah. Speaking of Andy, just joined. As is Gary. So we are 4 people missing. One of them is Liam, who obviously will not be here. But just in case he does make it back from work, his invite's there. One is Little Leech. And one is Phil. Stats page, Kelly.
Oh, stats page.
I've got the number of record holders.
Yeah, excellent.
Which are not on that list at the minute. But Jamie has the most records of 19.
All right, most record. All right, what?
Lap records.
Slaps.
Yeah, lap records. Yeah. The lap records for the manufacturer, the Mercedes AMG has the most.
Right.
The Mercedes AMG has the most pole positions. The Mercedes AMG has the most race wins. Now, not only have I done in total, I've done a column for Pro-Am, and then added them together for total on every single one. So I can see, like for record holders, I can see Pro and Pro-Am quali, separate columns, and Pro and Pro-Am race, separate columns, and then just add it all together. So, like, the 2 record holder things have got, like, 5 different columns. The pole position and the race wins has got just 3 columns, Pro-Am, and total. So, yeah, I knew you'd be impressed with that one.
Mate, I'm moist and speechless. Yeah. So, Mr. These are just what's your stats cover then? Like cars and lap records and so on and so forth. Or individuals?
So like the wins is obviously we've got the individual race wins. We've got individual appearances, individual pole positions. We've now also got manufacturer race wins, so which manufacturer has won the most races. So not necessarily teams. Teams is one I could probably do, but with team names changing every year, it would mean, redoing it every year. So I've just gone for manufacturers. So like Mercedes has won 9 races in Pro, but 41 in Pro-Am.
Yeah.
And then it's got a total of 50 race wins.
Yeah.
And same for the pole positions, same for the lap record. So I've got like Pro quali, Pro-Am quali, Pro race, Pro-Am race total. And then I've got record holders, so I've got like Jamie, Dan, Andy, Fury. Basically everybody who's got a lap record in themselves as well. Did they do it in Pro-Am quali? Did they do it in Pro quali, Pro-Am race or Pro race? And then if they've done it in all 4 like Jamie has, what's their total of how many lap records they've got? So, like Dan and Andy are second on 12. Fury's got 9 records. Maze Gamer's got 8. Mazda's got 7. Gary's got 7. Monkey Boy's got 6. Holty's got 5. BT Targa's got 5. NJ's got 3. Sutty's got 3. None.
Yeah, I think it might say.
Yeah. I think Argent may have got himself another one last night. Or another
record?
Yeah, quali and race.
Right.
Race, he was the only man in the 29s.
Yeah. I was doing 28. I was doing 29s comfortably in practice, but couldn't turn them on in the fucking in the race. I was actually better on pace last week.
I thought that.
Yeah. But then, as I said, I was all day off with fucking man flu, so, you know, did really well considering. Oh, I better press the buttons as well, aren't I? Shit, I forgot how to do that.
Oh, best wait a second.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Welcome everybody to the SimPlay Motorsport Pro Series. We are back. We've had a 2-week absence due to the solar flares last week that was causing server problems and a few personal problems as well. But we're back live for the Pro Series and we are raring to go. It is your Thursday night action here at the Oschersleben A course in Germany. And there is quite a bit of rain around tonight, and I am quite looking forward to this one. I'm Matthew Duffin in the commentary box. Sweden Sticky back in your box. It's been 2 weeks, but Kelly Davis, how are you?
Yeah, bearing up, mate. Bearing up. A little bit worse for wear after the Prolapse winners party last night. To give the viewers out there a kind of idea, have you seen Wolf of Wall Street?
No.
You need to. Well,
right.
Anybody who's seen Wolf of Wall Street will know what kind of Prolapse party that was. So, a bit worse for wear after the winners party, but here and ready for Oschersleben for the pros. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Going to be a fantastic night. Very interesting weather around. We are hoping that we get a few other drivers in. We are waiting for Liam may make it. Emo Guy may make race. Liam might make race 2 to push. Emo Guy could be back for a return tonight. I know he's got other commitments tonight, but said he's going to try and get back for this week. And Phil as well. Not sure if Phil's at work or not at the moment, but we're back live here at Oschersleben, back live in the Pro, and it's great to see everybody back out there on the track in the Pro category. And Kelly, you driven this track last night. Obviously, you didn't get to drive it in the wet in qualifying 2.
No.
But it looked treacherous in the qualifying 2 session, didn't it? And there's a lot of rain around Oschersleben today, so we could be in for a bit of excitement.
Oh, absolutely, and you're quite right. As it happens, the only session Pro-Am was the qualifying 2 session, which I wasn't in, and I was a little bit worried, to be fair, because I hadn't driven the Renault in the... that's a nice pirouette, Fury, lovely. Very, very nice for the viewers at home there. Thank you very much for that, Fury. I was quite worried because I hadn't driven the Renault in the wet, and turn 1 looked very, very treacherous. Although, talking to some people who've been practicing in the wet today, turn 1 is not the one to worry about.
No, turn 1 isn't the one to worry about. It's turn 2 and the back end of the circuit as Fury returns to the pits. We've got one driver on double points who we'll get into at the mid-session break, as always, every week, Kelly. But Mercedes-Benz last night, they took their 50th race win in total. They're on 43 pole positions. The Renault obviously added to its race win, and the Lamborghini added to another pole position tonight, Kelly. But enough about them kind of records. The one record that still hasn't yet to be beaten or hasn't yet to be accomplished by this man's teammate on Orthodubs is Jamie Brazier. Still has 22 wins in total here at SimPlay Motorsport. Dan's been on 21 now for a while and seems to be struggling to get to that 22 mark. Now he says that he's made it very clear, he's made it abundantly clear that he loves this circuit. Can he do that one tonight? Can he get that 22nd race win to tie it with Jamie on all-time race wins?
Well, it'll come, won't it? That's the fact of the matter. It will come. It's just a matter of time, really. And I think Daniel's focus really is on this championship more than it is clocking up the race wins. But as I said, if we think that Dan is done with his race wins, well, we're very much mistaken. So it'll come. It'll come when it needs to.
It'll 100% come. I'm just going to quickly run you through the championship standings then, and it's Andy.
Yes, please.
It's Andy who leads the way by 7 points from Unorthodox. It couldn't be tighter. Well, it could be tighter. It could be neck and neck. But it's 7 points. The gap is at the top of the table. Fury sitting in third place. And how many people expected Fury to be sat there at the beginning of this season? I know I wasn't one thinking he'd be top 3, but he sits there. Disco is in 4th with Gary down in P5. Mega season for Gary. Really struggling in that Renault, but to be 5th in the standings, what an effort. Xmart is P6 with BT Targa, his teammate, just behind him by a point. You then drop to D Biggs, P8. And who'd have thought he'd have been P8 at the beginning of this season? What a season he had last year. I've spoke with Dan this week. Dan says, he's getting very frustrated, wants to be back on that pace. Can he find his best form? Peaceful Explosion sits in P9 with Sooty Apex P10. Little Leech is P11. Phil is P12 with Monkey Boy 13th. Mazda in 14th, and we hope to have Mazda back out there next week. Big Boy Brazy is still 15th ahead of Liam, and Emo Guy obviously bringing up the rear as he has re-entered and should be with us hopefully tonight, if not next week. The Constructors' Championship, Slingshot Motorsport 41 points ahead of Shake and Bake Motorsport with Team Prolapse in 3rd, Leechy Losers 4th, Wakasaki Racing in 5th, Run Flat Racing in 6th, GQ Motorsport 7th with SimPlay Racing 8th, Iron Brew Racing 9th, and the Iron Brewers, as Emo Guy's going to be known as, currently bringing up the rear on 0 points. But 7 points to gap, Unorthodox to Andy. Tight.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we wanted, wasn't it? We want a championship battle, and we've certainly got one. With what have we got to go? 5 to go, have we? 5 rounds to go.
6 to go. 6 to go.
Yeah.
This Algarve, Zolder, Sakito, Fuji, Bathurst.
Bathurst, yeah, absolutely. So, it's game on, isn't it? So, and tonight with the weather, it's going to throw into the mix another variable. We haven't seen the rain for the pros for a little while now. So, it's going to be interesting for sure. Don't go anywhere. Don't turn over or switch off or go and watch any of that rubbish on TV. Just stick here because it's going to be a hell of a night tonight. Yeah,
it is indeed. Put the kids to bed, grab a few cold ones, and tune in because we have got a roller coaster of an hour. Evening to Disco. PM Motorsport came in. Audio Sport, our lovely sponsor. Peaceful Stepdad and Fury's Grandad in the chat. Good evening to all of them. Good evening to Hayley at home. I know she'll be sat there listening.
No, she's just got to make a cup of tea, but she's not far away. I was just going to say, I can't put the kids to bed because my one wants to put it on pole.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Don't put him to bed because he's got a championship to win.
He's got a championship to win.
A big talk as well. Peaceful Explosion. Just want to clarify that Peaceful, yes, he took double points at Daytona, but due to internet problems and with it being an American circuit and not running the online championship as possible, Peaceful Explosion's double points will be retaken. The admins have decided due to the fact that we felt he was a little hard done to, because normally, like Smokey Devil last night, was disconnected but was able to get himself back in even though he started at the back of the pack. So Peaceful is to take his double points later on, obviously within the same limits as everybody else, but retake them at a later date. Now, an interesting one. Look at the leaderboard at the moment. Andy currently the quickest in this practice session, but look at the Leechy Losers, 3rd and 4th so far.
Yeah, now, if last night's anything to go by, the Renault is quite handy round here. And again, I mean, the pace difference is these guys are, Monkey Boy upwards, actually Fury upwards, are well over what the Pro-Am pace was last night. Yeah. I don't think we saw anybody in the 28, certainly not in any of the races. We saw some 29s. I think it was only Kieran who was in the 29s last night. But the Renault is handy round here. And as you can see, Gary and Little Leech more towards the sharp end of the times. Yeah. So, but of course, there's some rain coming, and that might stir things up a little bit more.
A discussion I want to have with you, Kelly, is the BMW doesn't seem to be a strong car in the wet. It's not been here since I think you've been commentating, but it's been new season 1, especially with Mazda AH and Keegs. Wasn't the strongest of runners in the wet weather. Has Disco and Andy got enough in this BMW tonight to do something in the wet?
Well, that is a question that's going to be answered. I've heard this also. I haven't seen the BMW run in the wet, so I couldn't comment, but rumour has it that it's not a great wet car. But I don't know what the Renault's like in the wet either, to be fair, so because I haven't put it on track in the wet. I would have thought by its characteristics of being quite a stable car that it's probably quite good, but who knows? We know the Porsche's a good wet car.
Yeah. Who knows indeed. The Porsche, very good wet car. The Mercedes, iffy in the wet. Would you say the Mercedes, not the best?
Well, again, it's characteristics, isn't it? It's a high-speed, twitchy, low downforce kind of car. So I would say it's a handful in the wet. But you know, it's the driver, isn't it? It's their touch. It's their skill. It's being able to judge those conditions every single lap. You've got to be a bit Senna-esque, haven't you?
You have indeed, and I think that's where we're going to find out tonight whether who can do what and who is doing what. And this is something we're going to see as we go ahead tonight in this race. We have got 15-minute practice, which there is 5 minutes 20 seconds left, and then we get straight into the 10-minute qualifying session.
Should we have a lap?
We can have a lap. Yeah, do you want to do a lap?
We'll see if I'll do it. I would. Craig just coming up towards the end. We met this guy last week at Donny Park. Him and Gary, we had a great
just to say,
great
Kelly,
touring car meeting.
sorry to butt in, just before you start your lap. Kieran did a 28.3 in quali, but that's already been smashed, he said.
Okay, right, so and here we go round the last corner and down the pit straights, not the longest of straights, and great comment last night about John Cleland. I'll get into that in just a moment. As you see turn 1 coming up towards you, this is a 90-degree left, almost like a dead end, then turn left. This second corner is one of those hurry up and wait corners. It's long, it's slippery, you've just got to be patient. There's a few of those corners around this track where patience is absolute key. Hit the brakes 100 metre board down a couple of gears, tuck it to the apex, run the apex round and accelerate on the way out. Now it's the triple, as we've been calling it, down through here. You can go flat round this first part of the left-hander if you want to, but it will run you out wide for the next bit. Try and pick the apex up 3 times, there you go, and another long patient corner where you can't get on the power and you're frustrated. Quick chicane, this one can hop through. Make sure you've got some wheels on the curb. I think Craig could have done a lot more on that chicane just then. You're onto the back straight now, short back straight, not really enough to get a slipstream. As you come up to this Volkswagen bridge, you then turn right and then left. This elongated chicane is going to be a big puddle there in the wet just there, which is going to be really tricky. Now, last couple of corners, some people moan about these. Don't mind them at all, to be honest. A right and then a right again. Easy to go wide on this one, as we see Craig going right to the outside there, and then you're back onto the start-finish straight. So, somebody who's quick is in the 28s. Somebody who's uber quick will be in the 27s.
Somebody who's even quicker will be in the 26s, as Andy and Dan have demonstrated at the minute. Now, Kelly, a talking point last night was the pit entry, which Argent and Argentine Rabbit Joe very much was very good for listening and complying with when me and Dan was talking about this, and did a lap in the pit. So, Dan, if you're listening, if you'd like to just go into that pit lane entrance when you come around, that would be marvellous, so we could explain to the viewers what the situation is. But it's a long pit lane, Kelly, and not only is it a long pit lane, it's an early pit limiter. You're hitting the limit halfway round the final corner, so that by the time you're on the limiter, you've still got such a distance to travel before you're even at the first of the garages.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, trying to attack that pit limiter is quite tricky as well, because you're braking really, really hard to get the speed down and getting to the point where you're going straight on and not turning. So it's quite tricky to get speed down just before the limiter as well. And pit exit is another one, to be honest, as Dan
I thought he was slowing down for us.
He was listening to us, wasn't he? He looked like he was going to do that. Yeah, cheeky little sod.
But,
the exit is also extremely tricky because it feeds into turn 2. So as you see Dan come down here and he turns there. Now, this is the pit exit where you see that white line there. So the pit exit feeds into that corner, and as you're coming round, you can't see the people coming out.
No, and this is why I was shouting at communication about you and Kelly last night, who was Nicky, who was exiting the pit lane as you was sort of coming around to that corner, and the communication was spot on, if you don't mind me saying. It was Peaceful Explosion and X-Mark currently occupy the pit lanes. Gary gets himself down to a 27.1, so that Renault of Gary. Here's Andy, look, so he's already on the limiter. Someone's behind Andy, actually, who's just come in as well, so he's already on the limiter. Now look at how far Andy still has to. Let's just go back to Andy.
Yeah.
Look how far Andy's got to travel. The big tall building on your left, that's the first garage. Just after that is the first garage.
And look at that
so
wall of
he's
tyres
already
as well.
he's already been on the pit limiter for a while. Now, first pit box that Andy's just gone into, as Kelly's just described. You do not want to be close to that. It's so tight to get in because of that tyre wall that is in the way. Sooty practicing the pit lane as well. As Andy, I think, has just gone back into the pits and it's decided to glitch out. So let's just change driver. There we go. But yeah, it is so tight, that first pit. But here's the exit. So off the limiter nice and early. Sooty left it a bit longer than he should have done. But you kind of go around turn 1 here, which isn't as 90 degrees what it is on the track. Sooty does a great job of hitting the wall. Turn 2 is more 90 degree. But then look at that. And this is a great example of a prolapse car coming out right in front of Sooty. That in race conditions is going to be one to watch. Now, unlike Long Beach, where Long Beach you can run the pit exit, can't you, as the racing line and set yourself up for turn 1, and it's the drivers who's coming round on a fast lap to make sure that they are noticing someone come out the pit lane. This one's more the drivers coming out the pits can't just burst onto the track. They've got to be more careful of who's coming round the corner.
Yes, absolutely. And just as you're coming out that pit lane, and Sooty did it really well. It's very easy to run wide on the way out the pit lane and end up on the grass. You've got to really kind of hug the wall and get your wheels on the red bit of tarmac as you come out, so you can feed yourself into that second corner really nicely instead of going on the grass. So plenty of room for these guys to trip up with these little quirks to this track.
It is. We'll have to keep an eye on who does what. 17 people watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe as well if you are new, and don't forget to tune in next week live at the Algarve, Portimao. We go to obviously new to the F1 calendar this year. Hopefully it comes back again. So it'd be nice to see Portimao back for a season. As Andy's car is still doing a little boogie. But that is the session over, and Andy is the quickest man in practice. 10th to Dan and 3/10 to Gary Exmart as well, under that second, but Little Leach up in the top 5. So the Leachy Losers really having a good showing of it here. And we're getting underway now for qualifying. Get your tips in for pole position as we head out. Look at the 2 GQ Motorsport Mercedes-Benz of Peaceful Explosion and Monkey Boy wasting no time on getting out there. They want as much track time as possible, and they're getting out straight away. Monkey Boy leading Peaceful as they come out the pit lane then. And here we go, look. So it's not as 90 degrees as turn 1, but this part is pretty much 90 degree.
And both of them did exactly that. Exactly what I was saying. Yeah. You've got to hug that wall.
Yes, you have indeed. As you come round turn 2, then the outlap's going to be key here. Who's running what tyre? There was a discussion last night between Argent and Joe, whether the hard tyre would be a tyre to use, because they said they couldn't get the softs to work. I'm not sure what they ran in the end, but what tyre will be ran? Can these boys run the softer tyre? Your Renault looks after its tyres lovely, so I don't think yours is anything to worry about.
No tyre issues with the Renault. Well, Joe was on softs. We know that because he
put
said
it
last night. And Kieran was as well, I believe. Kieran's watching. He'll probably confirm that for us. Where is everyone else? Come on, let's have a check in.
Yeah, where is everybody else?
Yeah, we've got 18 watching. Let's let me do my like. There we go. Come on, let's say hello and see where you are. Let's. Here we go. Smithy's in. Dubs for
there
Paul.
we go. Yeah. Good lad from Smithy. I love Smithy in the chat. I love seeing Smithy in the chat. He's brilliant. It's a shame we didn't get to see him out there on the track last night. Hope you're feeling better, Smithy. Do you want some stats?
Well, it's been ages since I've had one. I feel like I need a stat shot.
Daniel Davis, unorthodox as we all know him. 3 pole positions, averages second place as Little Leach is facing the wrong way here, so that's a good start to his outlap. Unorthodox, averages second place. That's the best average qualifying this season. D-Biggs, he averages P5, but no pole positions to his name. Gary has 2 pole positions, averages 9th, though, in qualifying 1. Little Leachy averages P10. While we go down to Peaceful Explosion, he's got 1 pole to his name and averages P7. Monkey Boy only has an average of P11. Andy, 3 poles to his name, averages P4 on the second row. His teammate Disco, 2 pole positions, but averages P6 on the third row of the grid. Sooty averages a P9. Can he improve on that tonight? And then you get down to Fury, who averages 6th. BT Targa averages 8th, and Xmart averages 10th place. So a lot of guys in this one not averaging the best, sort of averaging that mid-pack here, but that just goes to show in the Pro that at any time, anybody can take them positions. It really is testament to Andy and Dan for 2nd and 4th. Their averages the 2 best in the league, but Dan especially, the only guy who averages a front row qualifying spot in Q2. So you have to say, you know, massive hats off to Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great stats there. I feel all statted up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad you. I'm glad you love it.
Yeah, I do. I love it so much.
Thank you very much, Fury. Fury in the chat as well. Sweet and sticky oi oi is D Biggs. That's an interesting line. Hello, says PN Motorsport Gaming, and was on the soft, and they had a second wind 5 laps from the end, says Kieran.
Yeah, thought he was.
Not that you could tell they had a second wind in race 1 because he looked as good as anything. Race 2. Will not go there.
Yeah. I thought Kieran had jumped out of the car and someone else had got in it race 2 because it was, and I'm sure Kieran will agree, it was one of his finest hour race 2. Although race 1 was an epic drive from him, I couldn't catch him. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, not now, but no. go back and have a look at the race from last night. Some great racing from Pro-Am, even if I do say so myself. But the whole field, a really good night from Pro-Am and a pleasure to race with last night.
Yeah, it was fantastic racing from the Pro-Am boys last night. Nice and clean as Little Each, currently on pole from Sooty. Peaceful Disco, Monkey Boy, BT, as Sooty's just messed up turn 1 completely. Now, Andy, not yet, who's the quickest man in the practice session, let's not forget, not yet been out there on the track. So what's happening with Andy at the moment?
I don't know what's going on with Andy, but he hasn't even come out yet, has he? He's got 5 and a bit minutes to go, so he's got to crack on a little bit.
He's got to crack on.
Getting on with it.
Yeah, he does indeed. He needs to crack on. As Unorthodox does a 27.3, so he has got a great banker in, and I expect to see Gary, no doubt, getting a bit closer to that time, as well as Gary comes round on board with Dan coming through turn 1 and into turn 2 now then, and Gary and Fury still yet to put a lap time in. Andy still then sat in the pit lane, and Andy really does look to get out there after a not the best Daytonas from Andy. It has to be said, he needs then to get back on that winning mentality to keep with Dan in this championship battle and help the team out, even to Fury's mum. She's got the Christmas tunes on, no doubt.
Oh, no doubt whatsoever. We can start with the whole Christmas thing again, are we?
No.
That's okay then.
Didn't make one reference last night.
No. Well, no. It didn't matter. Not that I heard. No.
Yeah. No, don't you worry.
Okay.
It's only October.
Are we over Christmas now? Is Christmas
over?
Oh
God, no. Long way to go till Christmas is over yet.
Well, yeah, I've been talking Christmas the last week or so. I've just sorted out my Christmas contract for Christmas party nights DJing. So
nice.
Back at a local hotel that I've done a lot. So So we are talking about Christmas.
Yeah,
let's
there we
hope
go.
It goes
then.
ahead.
I thought I had a quali ban. Oh, there we go then. Andy has a quali ban. He does. No, he does have a quali ban. Yes, he does. Come on, you're a Pro-Am steward. You're a Pro-Am steward. Where was this knowledge? Where was this knowledge? Andy does have a quali ban, thinking back to it. Yes, thank you, Andy, in the chat for...
Hang on a minute. You're the main man. Why aren't you on top of these things? Have you got it written down in your Toy Story notebook? Stop blaming me, honestly.
I'm not going to lie, I forgot.
Yeah, me too. Totally forgot.
Yep.
Good job, Andy's on it, isn't he?
Yes, thank you, Andy.
To be fair,
what a legend.
To be fair, if it starts raining for race 1, it might not be a bad place to be.
No, could be out the way of the carnage. Dan on pole, 127.2. Gary's 1/10 off of him, a 10th and a half off of him, with Peaceful in third at the minute. So good job from Peaceful so far. Sooty and BT a little off the pace, and Disco down in 9th as well. Can he improve on his time? We're on board with Gary now, and I'm just looking at the sector times on my phone, and there is a few green sectors coming up and popping up here, there, and everywhere. As Sooty is still in the pit lane, 3 minutes 21 remaining. He has got time to get out. In fact, I think he's on his way out the pits now. Yes, he is. He's just came back out. So here we go then for Sooty. He gets at least another 1-2 laps if he gets the outlap right and gets his 2 laps right. Here then, Gary improving in that middle sector, but still down on his time. It's October. Since I no longer work in retail, I don't have to worry about it till Christmas Eve, says PN Motorsport Gaming.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I start worrying about it. It's actual Christmas. I have to do the works I've just mentioned, but so I have Christmas songs every night for about 12, 15 nights before Christmas. But anyway,
as Gary then doesn't improve by 0.2 of a second. Fury has set a personal best first sector then. As BT Targa, who's up into 6th place at the minute, which demotes Sooty down to 11th place. And as I was saying about Andy's average qualifying not being too bad for P4, that P12 has just demoted him to P5 on his average. So So, yeah, Andy could have got away with that. Well, he says with a wink face, hey, you easily could have. Matt was too busy organising Christmas songs, says Fury's granddad, as to why I forgot that one. Fury, D-Biggs up in the middle sector as well. Fury, no improvement in the middle sector. And, well, that's just ruined his lap there as he goes back to the pit lane. D-Biggs was up in both sectors. He's gone back to the pits then as he and Fury will come out and will hopefully get out to get one flying lap in. They've got to have pretty much an outlap that is stellar to then get a flying lap in, which needs to be stellar. Absolutely. As Fury comes out the pits right behind D-Biggs, and they come into what could be a bit of traffic. Here comes BT Targa. He's on an improved lap, and Gary has gone purple sector 1, but no improvement sector 2, so I'll have to change to Gary after BT Targa, because he's on a mission at the minute. BT, no improvement there. Where is Gary 131 on the circuit? I imagine he's coming towards the end. Here he is, and final corner. Round he comes. He's got a bit of a sore wrist as Paulie Gary tonight after an incident at work, but down the start straight he comes, and is he going to improve? No, loses out by a 10th and lost it all in the final sector. Disco in the chat, I've got nothing here, he says. Someone would have caught it out, to be fair, says Andy.
Yeah, then probably would, Andy, you're right. Gary with a wrist injury, that's not a repetitive strain injury from work. As he, look, that might be weak-wristed. Yeah. As he spun it round. Yeah, spun it round, and that's ended his qualifying as well as it has for BT Targa and Disco Face, saying that the tyres are horrible. Fury stuck behind Sutty at the minute, and D-Biggs in front, you feel, just warming them tyres up to get as much heat in as he can. Now, Fury here does not need to mess around here. He needs to, although Sutty will want to get another lap in, as does Fury, because they've got one shot at it. They'll easily get to the line with 36 seconds. Yeah, D-Biggs. D-Biggs doesn't want to be... he's taking it right to the very end, isn't he? He didn't want to be going until he's ready. He's getting plenty of space, and there he goes now. Then does D-Biggs. He needs to hope that he can get a good lap. He's away now for his final run. He'll get 17 seconds. The next man on the track's coming down towards sector 2, so I'll tell you who that is when he breaks the timing beam, and we can change to him because he'll be the first man to finish. And I have a feeling it'll be Dan. It's not, it's Little Leach. Right. So Little Leach will be the first man to end qualifying as he comes round towards the final couple of corners now through the penultimate corner. The Renault looks nice around here, and he's currently sat in P4 at the moment, so not doing too bad as Sutty then has bailed out and has gone back into the pit, so he's going to qualify just 11th, and Disco will be in P10. But here comes Little Leach. Any improvement on his final lap? He does improve and goes to second place to take it away from brother Gary, who's going to break sector 2 now to find out who that one next is. That one is Dan, so it is Dan through sector 2, but he is well down, so I don't think we have to worry about him. It's Monkey Boy behind him then that's just broke the timing beam, and Monkey Boy was green in sector 2, so he's improved in sector 2 as Monkey Boy. He's got his teammate Peaceful behind him, but I can't see any improvements from Peaceful. Can Monkey Boy improve and maybe climb up, gain a couple of tenths to get above X-Mart, D-Biggs, BT then? Gary's into the pit, so he's not going to improve. Can Peaceful improve on his P4? So it's Monkey Boy, then Peaceful. Monkey Boy stays P9. What can Peaceful do just behind him? He stays P4. Now, who's the final car? Fury and then D-Biggs. So this is going to be an interesting one. Does Fury improve on his time? He's bailed, yeah. He stays P5. D-Biggs as well, stayed in P6. So for him, not the best of qualifiers, but for Unorthodox, it's another pole position. It's another point, crucially, as well, as he's ahead of Little Leach with a great second place, taking it away from the 2-times champ in P3. Peaceful Explosion, a good 4th place for him, and I'm sure he'll take that in qualifying, with it being P5 for Fury, then P6 for D-Biggs, P7 for BT Targa, and P8 for X-Mart, with Monkey Boy qualifying P9. Disco McDisco face temp, Sutty 11th, and Andy down in 12th. Closo at the top, Kelly. Yeah, absolutely. So, who's your money on? Gary. I think I'm going to give a shout out to Gary. I think Gary could be the man to take the man with the plan tonight. Yeah, I was going to say Gary as well, to be fair. Sorry, Gary. But, yeah, sorry about that, mate. That's ruined your race. But then it's dry. Dan's been quick, so it's Dan on pole, Little Leach second, Gary in third. These Renaults were looking good, so yeah, we'll see how they get on. Good effort from Peaceful there to be in front of Fury. Look out for that man as well. Do you want another stat? Well, hang on a minute. Let's get through this. You know, I know what you like, innit? You're like a kid at Christmas, aren't you? Yeah. Can we open another present now? Yeah. Can we open another one now? You know? A surprise for Disco being back there. Sooty back towards the back, and Andy on a qualifying ban, but we all knew that, didn't we? So yeah. Go on then, have a stat.
That stands 10th pole position in 4 seasons and 1 on a Monday night, which was the Renault Clio's, because he didn't get pole position in the GT5s. D Biggs did. Just took it away from me by a tenth or two. But that is Dan's 10th pole position at SimPlay Motorsport.
And they've come on recently, haven't they? Because he wasn't a great qualifier.
No, was never a great qualifier. Yeah, he's taken 4 poles this year. 1 obviously in the Clio's. The rest of the races was reverse grids. He had 3 last season and 2 in season 2. So Dan getting better with his qualifying. The point on offer, though, in qualifying kind of makes you think of qualifying that bit better, doesn't it? Maybe putting that bit more effort into qualifying to get that extra point. Points mean prizes at the end of the day. And when you think of... If you are someone like Dan or Andy who doesn't qualify in Q2 a lot of the time, 12 points is a handful of points on offer.
It is, yeah, absolutely. And championships have been won and lost on 1 point. So we're syncing up, ready to go. So look out.
Yeah, look out. We're getting ready. We're lights on. We're lights off, and it's nobody gets away particularly well there. I tell you what's got away well is the prolapse car of BT Targa already challenging the 2 Renaults in towards turn 1. Everybody a bit frightened of a drive-through penalty maybe, and down into turn 1, all relatively cleanly. Sutty's not got a good start. It's all fine from there, but BT challenging Gary now, who's got past his brother, and these two side by side round turn 2. Gary using the curb and the runoff to keep up that inside of BT Targa, and is he going to late break into 2? He is, because BT runs very, very deep, and that could open the door to Little Each, but no, BT cuts in between the pair of them. Gary's up to second ahead of BT and Little Each, and Disco, cracking start from him, up into P5 at the end of halfway through lap 1. Peaceful then, down from 4th all the way down to P12, and D Biggs, his bad luck continues down in 11th place, and I think Disco's lost it. Yeah, it is, it's Disco dropping down the order. Yeah, look, down by Sutty there, lost it. It looked like he lost it all on his own, as Monkey Boy looks like he's had a moment as well, as Andy gets past him, as does D Biggs now. But Little Each on the back of BT Targa, this for the final podium place at the moment. And Kelly, great start from everybody though, nice and cleanly through. Disco just making that one mistake.
Yeah. It looked a little bit clumsy, but they all got through. A bit of somebody getting bumped up over the curb over that turn 1. One of the greatest things I heard last night was the John Cleland story. I will get to that in a bit about turn 1. Turn 1 is tricky, and someone got right up on the curb, made it look a little bit scruffy, but what a start from BT. And we knew the Renaults would be good, so game on, isn't it?
It is game on, and Gary's already got BT, and he's got a second and a half to Dan. What's the race pace like for these two? Can Gary, the 2-time champ, pressure the 1-time champ at the minute? I'll tell you what, this is a fight I think we've hoped for all season, isn't it? The battle of the 2 different champions, as Andy gets a lovely little cutback up into turn 2. It looked like Fury was trying to defend the line, but couldn't defend, and he gets up the inside.
Hard to see whatever your view is. That's the move. That's the place I did all my overtakes pretty much. Yesterday, if you can get up the inside,
he's had a wiggle.
Yeah, but Andy's on the move. He's halfway up the field.
Now,
halfway through the second lap.
What's happened to D Biggs? He's 22 seconds off the lead, and looks like he's had another moment. He's down in last place. Let's just see if he's got any damage. Can we just jump onto him and see what he's got? Looks fine from the rear. We wait to see from the front. No, looks all fine there. So maybe he's just dropped it a few places on his own then.
Little Each has got in front of BT.
Yes, he has, and he's got in front of BT by some margin. So has BT messed up somewhere through the chicane or through the triple, as Dan was calling it off? I think that's his actual name, is the triple. I think Dan looked the names up last night, and I think that's is its actual name. The Leachy losers must have Team No Lap set up from last night, says Smithy in the chat, and Fury's gone wide through that elongated chicane, and that's allowed Sutty to get on the back of him. I've said for 2 weeks, Kelly, it's not a Mercedes track, and although Pro-Am heavily dominated by Mercedes, I think that you see the Mercedes true pace, no disrespect to Pro-Am, on a Thursday night with the other cars at much better speeds around them, and I think Fury exactly proving my point that the Mercedes-Benz around here isn't the best car.
No.
He's deep at 1. Fury was deep at 1.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's gone backwards a little bit. Yeah, he's struggling, his Fury tonight. It's not going to be his night, and he's fighting forces he can't control tonight, I feel.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think Biggs has had another moment at turn 1 as well. I just saw in the background. I think Biggs has had a bit of a spin somewhere else. But Sooty now defending. Oh, that's Monkey Boy. Monkey Boy who's just had a moment as well there. So he's gone round a little bit. Biggs trying to get on the rear of Peaceful. He's trying to get on the rear of Disco. But Andy, look at him. From 12th on the grid, let's not forget, all the way up to P5. Yeah. And we're only on lap 3 of 23. The pit window, I've not actually mentioned this, opens at the end of lap 5 and closes at the end of lap 16. So the pit window will open in a couple of laps' time. And Andy having a good little start here on the back of X-Mart already. BT Targa's dropped further back, I've just noticed.
Yeah, I've just noticed that. He's dropped behind both of these, so he must have had a moment, must have dropped it or something, because he's dropped, excuse me, back behind these two. Of course, Andy on a mission. He needs to be on a mission. He's got to catch back up to Dan if he wants to keep this championship alive.
X-Mart! Dropped it on his own.
Gone. He did, didn't he? He didn't get touched, did
no,
he?
he did. No, that was definitely losing it on his own there. I wonder if he just I'm just looking back on my monitor. Yeah, just definitely on his own. He lost that one there. And Andy then up into P4 and can hunt down the Leachy losers in the Renaults. Gary, look, pound for pound, punch for punch, like Fury versus Wilder in the boxing 2 weeks ago. Gary and Dan are going toe to toe, and Peaceful's in early. Let's jump on board him. Does he have damage? Because that is an early. I mean, that for a 10 looks a little smushed up.
A little bit smashed up. I don't know.
Peaceful's going to have to pit again.
Pit window?
Pit end of 5.
End of 5, yes. He's going to have to pit again. So that's Peaceful's luck. I mean, yeah. If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all, this guy, would he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? His luck is poor again. So, but going back to the front, Dan, second and a bit, gapping Gary, but Gary is on a charge, and Gary getting into a groove. We spent time with Gary and Craig, his brother, Little Leach, Donington last weekend. We had a drink together, and Dan was there as well. We all had great fun, and we're really looking forward to the Leach boys being back in some competitive cars next season, and really bringing this fight to the front runners, that being Dan and Andy and so on and so forth, because that's where they deserve to be, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where they deserve to be. He's not a two-time champ for nothing, and as Dan crosses the line, look, a 28.7, and Gary crosses the line, a 29.1. A couple of tenths in it again, and they are pretty much pound for pound, punch for punch at the minute in terms of their lap times. Andy 28.4, so he's bringing himself in. Yeah, he's bringing himself into this one a little bit. BT up to 5th place and Sooty up to 6th. Then they both got past X-Mart after X-Mart had lost it, but Fury's down in 8th place, struggling. Disco is 9th, D-Biggs is 10th. Peaceful's out the pit lane, but we'll have to pit again.
With absolutely no disrespect meant, Andy's through the easier cars that he was going to get past this evening. It's now going to get a lot trickier because the Leach boys are on it in these Renaults. I think now is where Andy's going to start earning his money, as it were.
I'm just watching Fury's Mercedes through these couple of corners here, Kelly, while you were saying that, and it looks awful. Looks very twitchy, does Fury's Mercedes through here.
Yeah, it's not the normal pretty sight that it is, but Fury's had a fantastic season so far. Pro-Am, that was a little bit track limits, Fury. I mean, he's had a cracking season, reigning Pro-Am champion, and to step up from Pro-Am and to be 3rd in the championship in Pro is quite the achievement, and we've said it many times, and there's not going to be the Fury show again tonight. We've said many times that he's improved really well, but you can't have a good race every week, and I think this is just not a Merc track, is it?
No, I don't think it is. I think it suits the more chassis-based cars, the slower cars like the Renault. You kind of gone from Daytona where the Merc is dominant to a track where the Renault will give its own. Yes, all right, it'll lose down the back straight and the start straight, but it will go punch for punch in that middle sector, especially as Sooty went
Gary
a bit
must
wide.
Have made a mistake. Sorry, Matt. Gary must have made mistakes. He's dropped 4 seconds back now from Dan and dropped within a second or 2 seconds of his brother. So, he must have made mistakes somewhere.
Yeah, he did. And I was going to say, Sooty was wide out the final corner, which allowed X-Mart to have a run and a little look on the Lamborghini. We've got Lamborghini, Porsche, Mercedes-Benz. Nice to see 3 different manufacturers having a battle here. But Fury, you just see the pace of that Merc in a straight line. He was nowhere near X-Mart come the back end of the lap, but really gained coming down the start straight. And this is where Fury can use that Merc's power. It's when you get round this corner now that the Porsche, the Renault will, the BMW will really be in its own. As I say that,
look out,
and the Porsche's just absolutely dropped it on its own there, and that's twice X-Mark's just gone round on his own, and it was as if the rear just looked like it got a bit light, stepped out, and he couldn't save it. And do you know what? They're the kind of spins, Kelly. I don't know about you, but they're the kind of ones that happen very slowly, and you think, you know, it's not like
I've got this at first.
Yeah,
and then and then you start to realise that you haven't got this, and then it's all going terribly wrong, and then it's too late. But it was one of those. And there's me screaming, "Look out!" like he can hear me. You know,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, one, he can't hear me, and two, if he could, it'd be about 30 seconds delay on the stream. But mate, funnier things have happened. I mean, Welshie flashed his lights at me with a spin in practice yesterday, and I put my hand up, waved at him. What use that was, I've no idea, my friend. But that's what I did. I waved at him, and then I went, "What am I doing?"
Now look at this then. Andy has really gained on the back over these last couple of laps, onto the back of Little Leach, and with Gary having a moment somewhere, he's also going to see Gary in his sights. So game on for Andy here, but like you said, different kettle of fish at the front of the grid, and this Renault's really going to hold its own. But with rain around, when does the rain come? How much rain is coming? This is the biggest question. Will it come race one? Will it come later on in the evening? But the rain is set to come. The forecast has been horrendous this week. I tell you now, it's much better next week for Algarve. It's beautiful sunshine and mid-20s to early 30s in Portimao. So
again next week,
I reckon you might be. But at the minute, Andy is right on the back of Little Leach here. There you see Dan, there you see Gary. So it's nice that Gary still got Dan in his sights and was a bit quicker than Dan on the last lap. Pit window's open, so the drivers can pit. Peaceful's obviously got to repit, and he's already nearly a lap down. So what a shame for Peaceful Explosion. And I thought Dan on the track map was going into the pits then, but he definitely hasn't, and neither has Gary. Little Leach made a little mistake coming through that elongated chicane and managed
that'll put
to hold it
Andy
together
on the back of him. This is where the Renault struggles above just about everybody else on the grid. This is where the Renault has its problems, because it's another, like a Red Bull. Like a Red Bull F1 car, it's another car that's got a cracking chassis with a rubbish engine in it.
I mean, I don't know where you're going about this, but the Red Bull Acura, I hope it wins this weekend.
Oh, well, so do I, but it'll be about the chassis, not about the engine.
Oh, it'll definitely be power, pure pace.
Do you watch Formula 1 or what?
Unfortunately, yes. I'm more looking forward to the final showdown between the top five in the touring cars this weekend more than the F1, because that's finale at Brands Hatch, and it's looking wet there as well.
Doesn't it? It's a ding dong for sure, and I'll be cheering on my.
Little Leach has lost it.
Oh, did Andy hit him?
I'm not sure. I'm just looking back at my monitor.
I don't know.
I get it on my monitor on the Streamlabs before the stream. I don't think he's hit him. No, I think he's fine.
So he's lost it all on himself. When did he lose that to?
I think he's dropped it on his own. I think Andy's fine there. I think that's twice someone's dropped it in front of Andy. Little Leach then dropping it, but he's able to stay ahead of BT Targa comfortably here. You've still got Fury on the back of Sutty. Oh no, it's X-Mark. Where's X-Mark? He's down behind Disco. Look down in P9. I say Fury was on the back of Sutty, but he's not anymore. He's not even on the back of X-Mark and Disco. He's round. Renault doing good, and come on Team ProLab, says Nicky in the chat. There is a lot of people just starting to drop this car, Kelly, all on their own as well. Now, they are. And surprisingly, we're going on to lap 9, and nobody's pitted yet, and we're going on to lap 9.
No, don't you think there's more spins from these pro guys than there was pro-ams last night?
100%, yeah.
I don't know, maybe not, but there was good, clean driving from pro-am last night. But
it was brilliant to watch.
Seems like the pro boys are just I don't know, dropping it on their own, aren't they?
Yeah, they seem to be here. As I say, there's been no pit stops. Fury's the first man in at the end of lap 8 then, and let's not forget that you cannot pit at the same time as your teammate here. Now, the likes of Fury, the likes of Sutty, on their own, because the teammates aren't here tonight, they're able to pit when they want between that pit window. They're fine. Little Leachy bottled it, said Smithy. The guys with teammates, they've got to pit separately. Peaceful's still got to pit here. He pitted before lap 5, so Peaceful's got to pit again. And everybody else still has to pit with their teammate pitting. And every lap that goes by, that pit window is getting closer to being shut here.
Yeah.
And
long Stocky Fury must have damage. Must have damage, I would have
Where's
thought.
Peaceful? I think this is Peaceful coming around the final corner now as Fury just gets away. Yeah, there's Peaceful. Look, Peaceful will have to pit again. Fury's going to end up a lap down here to Dan.
He is, yeah.
So Fury struggling already. Peaceful will have to pit again. But he's up to P11 at the moment. And you look at the three Mercs, 10th, 11th and 12th at this one at the moment. So that's how bad they're struggling tonight. BT's back up to 5th after earlier troubles as X-Mark's down to 8th place. Sutty's up in 6th. Gone a bit quiet as Sutty in 6th place. And Disco's quietly gone about his day, going back up into 7th place as well. So they've gone quite under the radar at the minute. But Dan, 4.5 ahead of Gary, still matching lap times of the top 3. So that's great to see. But still, as they come round to complete another lap and move on to lap 10, still not a lot of drivers making pit stops.
No, not at all. And bizarre. And where is this rain? Is this why they're not making pit stops? Is that what you're thinking? Because they're, are they sitting there worrying, waiting for the rain?
Well, the rule states, Kelly, that you've got to pit in that mandatory pit window, unless there's a change of conditions beforehand. Now, if there's no rain, the drivers have to pit by the end of lap 16. So if the rain's not came, then the drivers have got to pit.
Well, it's lap 10, Matt. So, they're well capable. Well, I think most of them are well capable of counting up to 16. So, are they hanging on to see if this rain comes? These guys have got no idea when the rain comes, when the rain's going to come. I've got no idea when the rain's coming. You might have more of an idea, Matt, but
not really. No.
Well, maybe a little bit more of an idea.
I kind of roughly know without giving anything away. But these guys have got to pit though before that 16th lap and.
Let's pretend that we do live in a world where these things are not made up virtually and timed and whatever. And let's say none of us know when the rain's going to come. These guys have got to be thinking that, haven't they? I'd be thinking it.
And the thing is,
out this year
with
being on the wrong tyres.
Dan and Gary and Little each had this same problem on Monday night, and Peaceful Explosion as well had this same problem Monday night in the Clios, that the rain came just as the pit window was closing. So it was like, when do they pit, when do they not? But the difference with the Clios is there's no team in the Clios. So you can get away with pitting as late as you want because you've not got to share a pit box with anybody. These guys have all got to share a pit box. Yeah,
well, hopefully they're communicating like all the best teammates do. So, I think if the rain doesn't come, we're going to have a mad rush 15 and 16 or have they got a lap before 16 or can they do it on 16?
They can do it on the 16th.
Right, so I think we're going to have a mad rush of pit stops 15 and 16 if the rain doesn't come, and there's no sign of it yet.
No, there is no sign of it yet, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled.
I thought he was going to go side by side through there. He's close to him, isn't he?
He is close to him. That's Disco, isn't it? So he's looking on Disco. It's definitely got darker though, Kelly. I will say that it's definitely got a bit darker here. And lap 11, so they've got anywhere between now and the end of lap 16 to get into the pit lane. Peaceful as well. He's got a pit again. Keep going, Fury, says Fury's mum, and a thumbs up from Fury's granddad. Smithy, love that. Get behind him, says Smithy. Not sure what that one's about, but yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, I don't know, really. Maybe it's prolapse thing. Oh, no, Smithy's not prolapse.
No, Smithy's a no-lapse, isn't he? Smithy's a no-lapse fan.
No-lapse. He's Mr. No-lapse, yeah. But get behind him would be a prolapse thing. Just moving on slightly and just talking about weather. Funnily enough, when I was racing last night, X-Mark goes deep. Yeah. It was very deep.
Big went with it
following
as well.
When I was racing last night, we had a mini tornado come through here in Cornwall.
Really?
Right past our door and down the road to Falmouth. And, of course, absolute havoc in Falmouth. And Hayley was telling me about it, but I was pretty much completely oblivious to it because I was here in the drive.
Yeah. That's it. He was in Germany. His Disco's gone a bit deep coming through 1 and 2 then. And he's ran very, very wide at the exit to 2. And X-Mark, thank you, Mama, for the carriage. Job done up the inside. And I'll have that one going into turn 3 as Disco again goes deep. He said, didn't he, in the practice session that he's struggling with tyres. I wonder if that's his problem really here. Struggling. And he is. But lap 12, so still no pit stops from anybody yet. And I'm very surprised at this one. Are we going to get a mad last-minute rush or what? But we'll have to wait and see what happens for these guys. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Dan's just started lap 13, which means Gary and Andy. Andy's gaining on Gary as well, by the way. Look at Andy's pace; it's fantastic at the moment, isn't it? In the 28, he's gaining on Gary. Oh, they're all in the 29s there. Look, 29 dead for all three of them, but he's gaining on Gary. But them three haven't pitted. Little Leach hasn't gone in. BT Targa is still going on his way.
So the only person so far who's pitted is Fury.
Yeah, Fury.
And that was and Peaceful. But
Peaceful's got to pit again because it was before the pit window. So Peaceful's got to lap 13 of 23. So they've got 4 laps really to get the pit stops done. And someone's in. It's Disco McDisco Face.
And as we see him come round here, as we said earlier in the practice, the long pit entry. It's frustratingly long. You're on the pit limiter really early. 37 miles an hour can seem so slow. And again, not in their advantage. They've got the first pit box.
Sorry, Kelly. So, was that rain?
No. Well,
I think there's a few spots.
Who shall we? Disco. Yeah, somebody else coming in the
Monkey
pits
Boy's in.
Monkey Boy. Yeah, look, I'm just trying to see if the windscreen has got.
Listen. I think that's rain hitting the roof.
Okay.
I think it's starting to rain here.
Okay. Well, I can't hear that, but there you go.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, it is. Look, there you go. You've panned away, look, and you can see the spots of rain. Go on board. There you go, look. So the rain has came before the pit window shuts. Now, has Monkey Boy called that one an absolute peach, an absolute gem? Dan, Andy and Gary, they've all started another lap. So I think has Little Leach. Who's that coming in? I think BT Target's calling a pit stop here as well. He is, look. So BT Target in.
But is it going to... Oh, yeah, look, it is raining. We can see that. But how quick is it going to get wet? Is this lap the right lap? Or is the next lap the right lap? And, hey...
I think for as long as the pit lane is, Kelly, for as long as you can be in these pits to get in and out and a change of tyres, I think gamble it.
Wow. Maybe so.
D-Big's coming in as well. Monkey Boy has got away. Peaceful then still to pit. Me and Dan worked out you lose about 30 seconds for a pit stop here, and that was without a change of tyres in and out. So it's interesting to see for these guys. Then in comes D-Biggs. There is BT Target. Sooty is in as well. BT Target, the first of the 3 to come in, and is the first of the 3 to get away. And whoa, don't lose the rear of it. Sooty, where is he? He's still there. Look, just in front of Biggs. BT's on his way. This is definitely tyre changes for these 3. They've had too long a stop. Peaceful's back in. Peaceful's back in. Sooty and D-Biggs away at the same time. Dan, where is Dan? Fury, don't forget, he pitted early. Did Disco and Monkey Boy get the wets on? That's the question. Where's Dan? Dan's just gone through with Gary and Andy, look. So they've not pitted yet. Now, will that hurt these 2? But look at Andy gaining on the back of Gary, right on the back of him now. Then is this for Little Leach to an X-Mart to maybe go? Do you know what? Oh, look at Biggs there. There was an. Oh, and Andy!
Oh, what happened there?
I don't know if it was. Yes. Well, was he? This is the question. Little Leach is coming to the into the pits as well, but was he unsighted by Biggs? That's the big question here. We talked about the pit exit, and that's just proven to what it can do. I do believe X-Mart's coming in as well. Yes, he is. So is X-Mart and Little Leach. You said, is it worth pitting a lap later? Gary, Andy and Orthodubs haven't pitted that lap later. They're going for an extra one. But in comes X-Mart. Little Leach is already sat in that pit lane. Andy's lost a bit of time to Gary. Gary's now 6 seconds behind Unorthodox. Can these boys get this done here? Can Little Leach and X-Mart pull off something?
Well, yes, this might be, as Martin Brundle says, the key to motor racing is being on the right tyres at the right time. So, is that what we're going to see?
Dan's in. Yep. He's in then at the end of lap 15. You imagine Gary will follow in as well as Little Leach is out of the pits. Gary wide. Gary's going to risk it. Andy's coming in.
Andy's going in.
Well, Gary's got to pit at the end of the next lap. So regardless of what Gary's do, Gary's got to pit at the next lap, at the end of the next lap.
Okay, now just run me through the rule again. The pit window, they've got to change tyres within the pit window unless the conditions change.
No, they've got to pit within the pit window. What they do in the pits is fine. The conditions, if the conditions changes, if it changes before the pit window opens, they can pit and change tyres, and that will be acceptable as a mandatory pit stop. Gary's got to make his stop at the end of this lap, regardless of what happens. Oh, what happened with Dan there? He seemed to rev that and then not get away anywhere.
A little bit sideways, not
go anywhere.
Kind of thing or what, but...
So Gary's got to pit. Whether he wants to change his tyres is completely up to him. But he's got to pit. So we'll see what happens. Little Each P4 then is only at the second sector. So he's lost a bit of time. Andy's on his way out the pits as well. You see the white dot on the track map moving, but the track definitely wet. Now, there's one of the GQ Motorsport Mercedes-Benz. Peaceful is quite close to the back of his teammate. Xmart is on the back of D-Biggs. Xmart down to 10th. He was another stopper in the pits, but this man hasn't stopped yet. Now,
he's got to this time, anyway. He's got to anyway.
He's got to stop, but what does he do?
Oh, keep it on the track, Gary. Keep it on the track. I've got money on you.
I think he's made the wrong call here, but saying that, 32 seconds we reckon's a pit stop. He's got a pit now, in he comes. Change of tyres? Got to be, hasn't it?
Well, it's got to be a change of tyres, isn't it? It's too wet now
Yeah,
we see how he was struggling there.
Yeah. So it has got wet very quickly. Who was the first one on it? We think Monkey Boy, maybe Sooty and BT Targa. BT's up to 5th, Sooty's down in 8th. So we'll see what Sooty can do. Fury, let's not forget, pitted early.
Yeah.
So let's keep an eye on his progress, because he might be on the dry tyres here, but the rain is pouring down then. Gary's in the pits. Dan's coming through up towards the penultimate corner. So Gary is at his pit box. How's his pit crew work? How's his stop? What's it like? Keep an eye on that white dot there. There is Gary, look, the pit crew doing a great job of looking like they're doing something without actually doing anything. Dan is going to jump Gary by a heck of a margin. Andy seems a bit further back from Dan, but of course he had that moment, didn't he, when D-Biggs came out the pit, so that might be why. Yeah. Gary's still not away yet. Andy's wide.
Andy's
now, are these the struggles of the BMW? Gary's now away. So Dan's cleared Gary. Dan's gone. And Gary now off the limiter and away has got Andy. Job done for Gary then.
Yes, indeed. So no harm done by Gary going a bit longer. As we see him come out of the pits, there we go. So no harm done by Gary. He went in second, he came out second. Yeah. Before the round of pit stops, he was second before the rain came. So going that bit longer has done him no harm.
No, it hasn't.
It's done him any good. Well, but it's done him no harm, that's for certain, sure.
Now let's drop back. Let's have a look down at D-Biggs here, because he's got Fury, because he's got Xmart and Disco gaining on the back of Fury. He has as D-Biggs is trying to catch Sooty, but Fury and Xmart struggling. Okay, is Fury and Disco are back in?
Both in the pits.
Well,
are they on the wrong tyres?
Maybe. But Fury and Disco back into the pit lane. Fury had that early stop, let's not forget. And Disco came in just before it started to rain. So did Disco put the wet tyres on? I'm not sure. Fury definitely on the slicks. But that has possibly cost them even the points to the Mercedes-Benz duo of Peaceful and Monkey Boy. Where's Peaceful? He's coming up towards the penultimate corner. Monkey Boy's coming up to the Sector 2 timing beam at the moment. And these two have got at least a 30-40 second pit stop ahead of them.
Yeah. Well, probably one or two of them will mention in the comments, because Fury went a little bit over his pit box, had to back up. They usually Fury's usually has a bit of chat in between when he's in the pit, so he might just tell us what's going on, what tyres he was on, or so whatever, or he might ignore me.
Peaceful, who's
Disco's
pitted twice.
Out.
Yeah, Disco's away. That was a relatively good stop from Disco. Fury's away as well. But Peaceful has got past them then. So he's pitted twice and is still P9. So good effort from Peaceful here. And here comes Monkey Boy and has got the job done on the pair as well. Now then, the other one to look at is Sooty having to defend from D-Biggs here. And Xmart, who's made a few mistakes. Look at them puddles started to form, Kelly.
Yeah. It's the track's getting wet quickly, very quickly. And... how's BT getting on? I know the Prolapse boys were doing a bit of wet practice before they came on this evening, with a bit of driver coaching from Daniel as well. So these boys have done a little bit of practice in the wet.
Yeah. Look at Little Each matching the pace of an Orthodubs. In fact, a couple of hundredths quicker than an Orthodubs the last time around. So he got the wet tyres on earlier. So are his tyres a bit more up to temperature than what Dan's are, and a bit better off than Dan's. But you've got D-Biggs trying to gain on Sooty. And Xmart trying to gain on the pair of them then. But Peaceful and Monkey Boy, can they stay ahead of Disco and Fury? That's a battle where them four are within 5 seconds of each other. Look, there's Disco. He's got Andy in front of him, who's lapping these guys. There's then Monkey Boy. You've got Peaceful in front of Monkey Boy. You've got Fury just behind Disco. 4 cars for the final 4 places as Andy going up the inside of Monkey Boy. And Monkey Boy giving him plenty of room there.
Yeah.
But managing to keep it so that Disco can't get a... Yeah, you are. Oh, Disco's tapped him. Disco's gave him a bit of a tap on the rear. Fury's gone wide, but Monkey Boy's gone round. Now, that BMW that time definitely tapped the car in front.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's yeah.
Hold on to it, Disco. Hold on
Disco's
to
going
it.
round,
No, he's
yeah.
lost it.
Oh,
Kylie
dear.
Minogue style, and round he
Yeah,
goes again.
spinning around.
And
So-
yeah, that's unfortunate for Disco there. But I said to you, didn't I? I said to you in the practice session, what's the BMW going to be like in the wet conditions? I don't think there's going to be much to it then, as Little Each puts a lap on Disco McDisco face. And Disco coming in towards turn 1. Needs to get his head back on the game here and make sure that he's able to keep this car going. But look at them puddles forming into turn 2. Disco looking up the inside a Little Each. Oh, there's Peaceful off. So the two Mercedes got the jobs done in the pits over Fury and Disco. And are back down to 11th and 12th, bless them.
Yeah. As we see, is that Little Leach.
Yeah, lapping
going
Fury.
past. Yeah, lapping Fury. And yeah, Disco trying to be opportunist on that one as well. But Fury having none of that one, he pulls away from it.
Yeah, Disco. The Mercedes have struggled tonight, Kelly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I was certainly Disco has struggled in the Beamer. Mind you, he wasn't having the greatest of runs in the dry, was he? And he, you know, by his own admission. Yeah, it's that's a shame. Andy keeping hold of it, and Gary's brought the time down to Dan, has he?
Yeah, by about 4 seconds.
Yeah, but then look, Dan's done a 136, Gary on a 139, Andy on a 139.
Yeah, but look at Dan's last lap. He's definitely had a mistake somewhere.
Yeah,
he's had a moment somewhere.
Spin, hasn't he?
Gary into the 38s, and as this track's getting wetter and wetter, Dan's definitely had a moment somewhere then. And
now let's have a look, see where the puddles are forming. We turn 2. This is, we know that's treacherous at the best of times. So trying to work out where the puddles are. So we come up here, turn 3. This is a reasonably simple enough corner, and I think towards the end of the lap, as we come up to the triple. Now, obviously, they won't be going at full speed through the triple this time. He's staying well off the curbs as well.
He's wide.
Dan goes deep.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh. There's me trying to phantom brake and turn the steering wheel.
He's deep
there,
again.
He is, yeah.
He's deep
but then
again.
But is he doing karting lines? Dan likes to hold karting lines in the wet.
Yeah,
so
possibly.
He could be doing a karting line through there. Still rides. I mean, he rides straight through the chicane as much as you possibly can. So the curbs aren't so much of a disaster. Now, this is where I'm thinking that being I haven't driven this in the wet, that where it's a bit tricky is now as you drop down here. Apparently, there's a big
puddle forming.
Dan goes right round it. Look, stays well away from it. I reckon he spun there.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you might be right.
I reckon that's the most treacherous spot on the track right now, is right there. Look at that puddle just starting there before the last corner as well.
Yeah,
that's
just as you hit the brakes as well. Yeah, exactly. So that's going to send you aquaplaning in a bit forward a little bit more then.
Yeah.
Gary,
just
over that.
This down. Big puddle there.
Oh, I was just saying Gary was gaining the gap, but that's gone back up to 5 seconds. So I reckon Gary may have made a mistake towards the end of that lap. But yeah, look at the puddles at turn 1. Not bad through 1, but it's when you get through 2 and it's like, look, he's hit one there, and look, it wants to send him straight into the gravel. And how's the Renault going to fare in the puddles over Dan? We'll wait and see. But the Porsche not doing a bad job. And again, at the first 2 corners, Gary's brought the gap down a second.
Yeah, you can see down there in the distance, look, just up the road, 4 seconds. It always looks closer than the time tells you. You look, look, they're just there. And you go, oh, that's 4 seconds away, that is. But at the moment, Gary is faster. He's the fastest of the top 3 right at on the last lap.
Oh, he's not now. He's not now. He's hit the puddle at the triple. He's managed to hold on to it. Nicely done. But as he hits another puddle as he gets going. Yeah. Now then, keep your eyes out. There'll be a yellow BMW coming Gary's way in a moment. And just as we were saying, is he about to catch Dan? Is he on then for something with Dan? He's gone and dropped it through the triple. So that one has gone. We're coming up to the penultimate lap. Little Each is bringing himself into a podium position here. 6 seconds off the back of Andy. Slowly but surely gaining over Andy as well. So Little Each maybe just trying to go for a last minute lunge. 12 people started this race. The top 6 cannot qualify. So at the minute on Orthodox, Gary, Andy, Little Each, BT Targa, and then the battle for that final spot of whether you can qualify or not. Sutty in 6th, D Biggs in 7th, and we know Sutty is a master in the wet. Look what he did at Sugo last season in the wet, Kelly, when he stayed out on slicks and nearly put it on pole position, didn't he, in the Acora? I don't think he's on the slicks today.
No, I don't think he is, but although there might be, because he's just mad, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? And I mean, he went out. I can't remember what race it was. I think it was that might have been Sportland Surgo as well. And
Yeah,
it was. He went out and just put as much tyre pressure as he could put in the tyres.
I think that was Indy Road.
Yeah, Indy, yeah, and he put as much tyre pressure as he could possibly get in there, and then went out and, I don't know, put it on pole or went fast as
Yeah,
or something
like that,
the
yeah.
guys, I don't know how he does it. He just does crazy, wacky kind of stuff like that and gets away with it.
And yeah, he does get away with it. Little Each has got the gap down to 4 seconds to Andy then. So you see that BMW of Andy starting to struggle. Dan didn't have a great lap again in the 40s. Obviously, Gary's was a bit worse. But Little Each then, the man at the moment who's the only man in the 30s based off the last lap.
But let's face it, we've got a lap and a half to go for Dan. He's got a 10-second gap.
Oh, yeah.
Over,
Oh, no.
Over Gary. He is going to be going very, very, very cautiously.
This goes in the pits again.
Oh, dear. Dan said last night on commentary, you know, that about being smart when he was talking about me just bringing the car home. It's exactly role reversal. He's just got to bring this car home over the next lap or so. He's not interested in getting fast times. Oh no, there again, that puddle. Oh, we held on to it. Same puddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
he didn't go as wide that time, did he? He looked for the apex, and that's the kind of one that caught him out. And these puddles are getting worse and more treacherous every lap. Every minute this rain falls, they're getting worse. Gary's got the gap down under 10 seconds now, but unless Dan has a huge moment, I don't think it's enough for Gary. Andy's 2 seconds to Gary, and Little Each now getting towards that 3-second mark of Andy with a lap to go. Little Each, you know, I fancy him for a podium here. Right, fancy him for a podium here. Could have a great shout at a podium.
He's got enough time. Unless Andy drops it, I don't think he's got enough time, to be honest. He's going to be hard pushed to make 4 seconds in a lap. But then it is wet. But he is fastest man on the track right at the moment. Excuse me.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how he goes down the start straight again in the 30s, in the 39. So he's the only man lapping in the 39s. Disco's come out the pits. Here's Andy. Look at turn 2. That is...
That looks like snow, doesn't it?
Yeah,
look at the car just aquaplaned across that.
Little Each has done well to hold on to that. Dan then coming through the triple. Oh, he's had a moment! He's had a moment at the triple. Now then.
Yeah.
Dan just starting to struggle. He's got that buffer. He's got that 10-second buffer. Yeah. Yes, it's been halved, but he's got the buffer. That's his biggest bonus. Gary, he had a bit of a wiggle there as well. Yeah, he had a wiggle there as well. Now then, how's Andy? He's wide.
Yeah.
Little Each. Little Each. Now then, where's Craig? He's there. Not rapid, but going still. Dan really starting to struggle at the back end of this lap. Thank his chickens. That wasn't a bigger spin than what it was. Disco has...
Right, take his chickens.
I mean,
that's worse than you can't educate Paul.
Well, you know, I thought I'd get one in there. Disco's retired from this race, but did get 3/4 distance, so we'll score points for 12th place. As Dan then looks like he's going to come to the line to score the race win here. And what a start to his race. I'm parked up, car is ruined and undrivable. Horrible race, says Disco in the chat. Dan has another twitch show, but into the final corner he comes. And Gary got close in the end. One more lap, you know, and I think Gary could have been close to Dan, but it's going to be that 22nd race win and another win for the Porsche. This man, Gary, 131, a second place back on the podium. So nice to have Gary there. And I tell you what, a couple more laps, and Andy could have been under pressure from Little Each, but a good job from Andy. Little Each P4, great result for these two Renaults. We drop back to BT Targa now.
Got a long way to wait.
Yeah, we have got a long way to wait. Where is BT? He's there, look, coming around this part now. Sutty looks like he may hold on to that 6th place, but we'll drop back to that one in just a moment. It's BT Targa. Good, solid 5th place for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. And, made the best of that, I think BT did on that one. So, as he comes around the last corner, just to finish this off.
Yeah, down the start straight he comes now, and that's going to be 6th place for BT Targa. Then a flash of the lights. Sutty Apex, some D bigs then. I mean, the gap's a bit bigger for Sutty, so he can rest a bit easier, but he's got this final corner to deal with, and that puddle there, and you just see him hitting the brakes. Oh, no. Hold it. Oh, he has done. Now, can he get the traction and get it back going? Has he got enough to beat D bigs to the line? No, that was Fury round. I think Sutty's just lost out, and he has. D bigs will come home for a P6. Sutty then in 7th place. Fury's round. There's a Mercedes round as well. X-Mart is going to come across the line for a P8. I'm not sure who's round at the top. That must have been Monkey Boy, because there is Peaceful for P9. Fury comes across the line for a P10, and Monkey Boy will get a P11. Then fastest lap of the race. A 28-1 from Dan. Could have been a clean sweep here then, in terms of pole, race win and qualifying. Yeah, it is. So Dan then will take the fastest lap of this race. So Dan from Gary, from Andy, your top three. Cracking drive though. The rain causing some dramas, and we're going to be right back in about 5 to 10 minutes time with driver interviews and qualifying too. Go and have a quick toilet break and grab a few refreshments. Don't go anywhere. Wow, that caused a few things, didn't it? Not a lot, really. Just Disco hitting Monkey Boy. I didn't really feel the need for anything else. I didn't think there was much else that was... everything else seemed to be drivers dropping it on their own. Get Gary in. I'll just invite these three in, and then I'm going to take a quick toilet break. The rain now. Even Dan. Qualifying's fully wet, and I think it starts wet for race 2. Yeah. Peaceful. Whoa, hit at the start, then the rain. The Merc does not like the rain here. No, definitely not. Where's Dan? Dan. There, bang. Add players. Join lobby. Yeah, boy.
Aye.
With a poorly wrist as well.
Oh, repetitive strain injury.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, honestly, it's throbbing like fuck.
Yeah, but how's your wrist?
Yeah.
Well done, Andy.
Especially when that wet comes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You ought to leave
Jesus, my wrist is like no more.
You ought to leave it alone, Gary.
Swat.
You've got a long way to go, Gary, with that wrist. You've got another challenging...
oh, no, is it wet again?
I couldn't possibly say. Couldn't possibly say.
Is it wet again?
I couldn't possibly say. I'd get some deep heat on that wrist if I were you.
Oh my god.
Man, that is a handful around here in the wet.
Yeah.
Even when there's not a puddle, you just slide like fuck.
Yeah, I'm sure Dan will agree with you. You look like a handful for you, Dan.
I dropped it twice.
Yeah, we saw one of them.
Which one did you see?
We saw
Near the end, last lap.
Yeah, near the end of the lap. And didn't you do it twice, both on that elongate chicane one? Were they both there?
I did it in the penultimate corner.
Right.
I touched the puddle on the inside, spun off, and actually had rear damage.
We saw the one where you nearly lost it on that puddle as well.
Yeah, that's the same puddle I hit.
Yeah, that's a twat, that one, isn't it?
That was fucking hard work.
It looked it.
Worst bit of me is around that left-hander. You know, like the double apex left?
Oh, the triple apex corner thing. It's called the triple.
Yeah. Halfway around there, the arse just goes, see ya.
Yeah,
and then
puddle that goes across it, isn't there?
You caught that one, Gary, didn't you? And then lost it again, trying to get going. Yeah. I was like, look, catch it. The front end comes round, and when we were on board with you, like, you know, and I'm like, catch it, and the front end comes round, like, yeah, and then you spun and went, oh.
I was close enough to Dan, and he lost it. I'd be there to pick up the pieces, but he did lose it.
It's all right in the wet, is it?
I don't know what the talk is about. It's fine. It's literally like it's as good as any other car.
Yeah.
All right.
Fine.
Okay. That was
I
good.
don't know why everyone says that it's awful in the wet. It's fine.
It's just
right.
It's all right.
It's just Mazda.
Well, I was going to say Disco.
Lamborghini is.
I was going to say Disco was struggling, but he was struggling in the dry anyway, wasn't he?
Well, he doesn't like this track much at all. I mean, this is a track that I love. I love this.
Yeah.
Track.
It's very technical.
It's that bloody qualifying band shit me up massively.
Well, done and dusted now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that would have been
fucking-
a different cut between me and
I
Dan.
shat myself because Little Leech nearly outqualified me. I was like, holy fuck!
Renault is strong here, that's for sure.
I was sat there and I was like, I put my quali pace on, radiator off, right, and I couldn't get it to work at all, not at all. And then next thing you know, I see Gary and Little Leech a 10th behind me. I was like, holy shit!
Craig was lapping 36
Right,
there
pop
in the
into
wet.
toilet. Yeah, your brother was lapping quite quick. If a couple more
Just
laps,
put it in the stream. I was enjoying that rain.
couple more laps. I think he'd have been on Andy's tail because Craig was lapping well.
Made a mistake.
He was going, this is easier in the wet than the dry. I was like, give over.
I cannot explain the lack of pace in the car tonight. Not even
The
close.
last couple of laps where Little Leech was closing on me was partly because I backed off a little bit. I just wanted to get the podium in the bag.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
I just wanted to bring over the P3, especially starting from the back of the grid. It's like, it wasn't a bad place to be at all.
No. It was. You cleared a lot of people quite quickly, but it just got a little bit more difficult in the sharp end, didn't it?
Oh yeah, of course. But once I was up to like P4, I was already 10 seconds behind Dan. It was game over. Yeah, that was the.
I hope I'm starting at the back of the grid here, let me tell you that.
I don't.
This first corner could be absolutely carnage.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh my god.
Getting off the line's going to be interesting to start with.
Do you know what? The big gamble is going to be, is it going to dry up or is it going to be another wet stint after the second dry stint?
It's colder as well, being later, so it won't clear very well.
I don't know if there's going to be another wet stint, maybe the third or fourth stint.
Wow. There we go.
It's a mystery.
Well, it is to you guys.
Oh, some are more in the know than others. I'm joking. I'm
so glad I built that fucking 12-second gap to Gary.
I didn't even know it was going to rain in there. Started to go, it's getting darker. I think it might rain here. And I was like, really? I was about to pit for a new set of softs.
You burnt your softs out?
Did you? How do you do that?
My rears were halfway down the wear mark. I'm now red as fuck.
You're joking. How do you manage to do that?
That's probably my setup.
Well, it must be because the tyres.
I'm running 0-2.
0-2. There you go. I was running 2.5.
Really?
2-8.
Yeah.
Max downforce for me, 2 and 8.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 2 and 5 on the Renault for that track, and that's why she didn't move.
I couldn't. I tried more downforce, but I just couldn't get the front to turn in. It was horrible.
No, I was all right. The front was good. I mean, yeah, it was. I wasn't doing the same pace as you guys, but I guess that's it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If what was I doing? My quickest total lap was a 28.3, and actually in the race meeting last night, I didn't go better than a 29 something or other. So I'm still a couple of seconds back. But
the thing is as well is Kelly likes a more understeery car, while you, Gary, like a more oversteer car. You like it to be a bit more twitchy. So
I like it to be pointy. Do you know what I mean? And kind of yeah. But red tyres. Never had nothing like it in a Renault.
Yeah, they were smoking.
Downforce I was running was 1 and 10, I think, on that.
1 and 10.
Yeah.
The Porsche hasn't got a lot of movement on the front, though, has it? It's got a lot of downforce adjustment on the back, but not a lot on the front, has it?
I was quite happy with it.
I run 1 and 6 everywhere in the Porsche.
Yeah.
You're mad.
I can't remember what I used to do. Probably as much as I could get on it.
I can't wait to get in it again next year.
Yeah, me too. I've been driving it a bit here and there, and I want it back.
What, the Porsche?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think driving the Renault has given me a little bit more confidence to attack corners a little bit better, and then when I jump in the Porsche, I can attack it a little bit better.
You guys know how I felt in Ginetta last season there.
Yeah, feel for you, Andy, for sure.
It was a learning experience. Helped me get better.
Well, do you know what? That's exactly what the Renault is for me. It's been, like I said, built my confidence in, kind of the lines I take and, the confidence in the car. And as I say, jumping back into Porsche, the Porsche I feel better, I've got a better handle on the Porsche. So we'll see.
Yeah, getting used to trying to extract everything you can rather than just trying to get to as close to the percentage as you can. You actually have to get everything out of it to be anywhere.
Yeah.
Real life.
Yeah. Absolutely. Quick weather report for quali.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. Here then for the second part of the race, the round 14, I do believe it is, here at Oschersleben. And it's still raining. The rain is still falling. The top 6 cannot qualify. So Unorthodox, Gary, Andy, Little Leach, BT Targa and D-Biggs in the end cannot qualify for this one. Unorthodox, double points tonight. So he's decided to risk it and take them double points. And that puts him 32 points in the lead of Andy at the minute, obviously before drop scores are taken. And after this first round, Fury stays third. Disco not really being able to close the gap there, but Gary 1 point off the back of him. BT Targa jumps above Xmart. D-Big stays 8th ahead of Little Each 9th. Sooty goes to 10th. Peaceful drops down into P11 ahead of Monkey Boy. Phil Mazda, Big Boy Brazier and that Bozzy Boy. Shake and Bake 4 points ahead of Slingshot Motorsport in the Constructors' Championship now with Team Prolapse third. Leachy loses 4th, but only 4 points off the back of them. And GQ Motorsport gaining on Wakasaki Racing. Run Flat Racing 2 points off the back of them. We've got the top 3 in the box. And Andy, not a bad race for the BMW considering you couldn't qualify.
Yeah, pretty good starting from the back. I can't complain really. I've got to take P3. It was tricky the first few laps, just making my way through, trying to avoid getting caught up in any incidents. A couple of guys happened to spin right in front of me, which you guys picked up on the stream. There wasn't any contact. I didn't give anybody any encouragement. They just lost it in front of me. And there was one instance where with Xmart, he actually almost, I almost went straight into him. It might be Little Leach actually. I think it was Little Leach even. Little Leach lost it right in front of me, and I actually had to pretty much stop the car and then manoeuvre around him.
Yeah.
So it was, very close, but managed to get away with it.
We see you had a moment as well, turn 2, when D-Biggs came out the pits. Did D-Biggs coming out the pits kind of catch you off guard, or what happened at turn 2?
Yeah, so I flashed him a couple of times, just to let him know I'm there. I'm not trying to be like a...
Yeah.
Whatever. But I flashed him just to let him know I was there, and he braked very early into one of the corners. Turn 2, I think you're right. I'm really turn 3 because technically you've got 2 turns at the start, and then at the end of the straight you've got the left-hander turn. I don't know, turn 3, turn 4, whatever. Turn that left-hander. We don't know what it is, but So he caught me out a little bit with his braking, but no harm done, no damage actually, and really the time of loss of Dan and Gary was in the pit stop. I don't know why, but I was sat in the box for 25 seconds. They did repairs on the car, despite me not requesting that they do that. But the team decided to do repairs on the car, which basically knocked back an extra 5 seconds on top of the tyre change.
What can you do race 2, buddy?
Just try and work my way through the pack and get through the wet stint. I don't know whether there's going to be more rain coming after it dries up, but just have to play it by ear and keep an eye on those clouds.
Best luck, mate.
Thank you.
Got Gary in the box, and it's been a while since we spoke to this man, but the 2-time pro champ back in with us. And Gary, that's better.
Yeah, could say that. Getting used to the car now.
Car suit this track a bit more?
It does in the dry. I wouldn't say it does much in the wet, but we'll get there.
No, you seem to catch Dan though a little bit in the wet. Dan made a few mistakes. Was you hoping that he'd make a couple more to get the Renault another win?
I was hoping for him to make another mistake, but to be fair, I'd made him another mistake after I thought that, so the chances were gone, really, to be fair. Now,
you've informed me earlier in the night you're driving with a poorly wrist. How is the wrist?
Yeah, throbbing a bit, but looking at the next race, it could be throbbing a bit more afterwards, so we'll see.
Well, based off your history at SimPlay, you come back from a knee operation to come back and take a double win at Monza or wherever it was, so I'm sure a dodgy wrist is the least of your worries.
Yeah, double podium this time will be over the moon with, to be fair.
What can you do second race, Gary? The rain's still around a little bit. Can you keep that momentum going? I know that Little Leach has messaged me personally as well and said that, I was enjoying that in the rain. Can we have a bit more? And what can you do?
Well, we'll see. We'll reassess after the first corner, I think. That could be quite interesting.
Best of luck, buddy.
Cheers, boys.
And we've got Dan in, and we said before we came, before we got into the qualifying session, that can Dan get that 22nd race win? And Kelly was like, yeah, it's Dan, I'm sure he will. You have, Dan. It's took a while, but you finally got there.
Finally got the monkey off my back and finally matched Jamie Brazy. But that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But finally, 22 wins.
22 wins. Great drive from yourself. You got away early. Gary kept you honest early doors, but made a mistake somewhere to give you that breathing space. How tricky was the wet conditions, though? Because you seemed to make a couple of mistakes, one in which we caught on stream.
Yeah, so I done like most people know, I did quite a lot of rain testing just before we came online, because I looked at the weather radar and knew that rain was going to be looking around. I gapped Gary. I knew I just had to be patient, let the car come to me, and then the perfect timing for wets, but a couple of puddles kept catching me out, and then I had damage actually from my first spin. I hit the wall having rear damage, so the car was a little bit twitchy towards the end, but luckily I built that gap to give myself enough of a buffer to make those mistakes.
What can you do race 2, buddy?
Survive. Get into turn 1 and just see where things takes us, as risking it all. Now everyone knows that I'm on double points. It's going to be more target on my back. So we'll see how we get through the rain and see where we end up.
Best of luck, mate.
Thank you very much.
Kelly, 3 drivers all happy with where they came then. Peaceful, yet to set a lap time though, and he needs to really kind of get in front of BT Target here, because that's kind of where BT ought to be, is 7th place, but Peaceful at the minute not being able to get a lap in.
Yeah, quite entertaining watching these Mercs. It's like a drift show.
We said last night when Welshie came out of the pits very late that, you know, he got the best of the conditions. These conditions, the rain hasn't let up, has it? So these conditions are not slowing down any.
No, as you say, last night, Welshie was in the right place at the right time, and it doesn't look like that. We've probably had the best of it already.
Monkey Boy into the pits, 2 minutes 45 seconds remaining. Is he going to get out for one more lap? Xmart as well. He's not really set the timing screens alight, has he? A 55 when the others are all in the low 30s. You feel that the best times are to come earlier in the session, but as the rain falls, I'm sure it's a bit more wet testing for these Mercedes-Benz. And here comes Xmart, in fact, crosses the line, improves by 16 seconds and moves into the 38s. Now then, I can't really see him gaining them 3 seconds to get on the back of Monkey Boy, because I think the track's just getting wetter, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't see. I mean, he might be able to improve on that, but I think we've seen the best of quali already. I think it's just getting wetter and wetter. So I don't see. As I say, there's room for improvement. He's 5 seconds off the pace. There is room for improvement, but I can't see it being anybody. As he goes to the Seago, he's 4 tenths up, but it ain't 5 seconds, is it?
No.
You know, so. Yeah,
that's it. Fury, Disco, Monkey Boy all in the pit. Someone is leaving the pit lane now, but I feel that they may have left it too late. Sutty coming round. He will get one more lapping. Every driver that's out on track should get one more lapping. Whoever's just come out of the pits, it was Fury. I don't think Fury's going to get round in time to get another lap in. Here comes Sutty then. Does he improve on his time? Currently 6 P3. No. Now, I'd love to know if he put the soft tyres on. Did he try the Acura qualifying again, but in the Lamborghini? That's what I'd love to know.
Looking at that pace, I wouldn't. Well, who knows? Who knows? It's silly, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You said it, race 1.
He defies all logic, doesn't he, Sutty? Really, you know. So. Yeah.
Where's Xmart on track? He's green in sector 2, so he said a personal best sector 2. Can he improve? Oh, he's a bit deep through that final corner, but nonetheless, curve, really. No, he didn't. Nonetheless, so he's got down the start straight, and will this be an improvement? 1.9.
It is, yeah.
And he's gone back to the pit. So him and Monkey Boy are done. Disco done. Sutty is out there. Peaceful coming to finish his lap. He's also improved in that middle sector, but he needs 6.5 seconds just to get to Xmart.
It's like a rally course, isn't it? He's just like chasing it, you know, through the triple there. He was just chasing the back end of the car all the way around. Did you see him chuck that into the first part of the chicane there?
Sutty is throwing it around, something rotten. Peaceful improved. He is sending it. Peaceful improved. He gained 4 seconds. He's now 2 seconds off the back of Xmart and gets one final run in. I tell you what, Fury may get a lap in here.
Only just maybe. That's not the line.
I don't know how. Yeah, no, it is. The line's early.
Was timing.
No, the line's early. The line's further back. The line is
So he's done.
No, he's on a lap. The line's further back. So the start line is a lot further forward than the finish line. So you actually finish, the timing beam is actually a lot further back than when where the start line actually is. So Fury's on a lap, Peaceful's on a lap, Sutty's just finished and didn't improve on his time. But Peaceful then, he's at the bottom end of the circuit. What can he do? Nothing in Sector 1, neither for Fury, but Fury doesn't really need anything here. Peaceful needs to gain 5.1 seconds to take pole away from him.
Yeah.
And you feel that Fury maybe just have tweaked something to try for the wet in this Merc. Peaceful, though, coming up to the Sector 2 timing beam at the moment. And again, we'll just keep an eye on the timing screen on my phone.
Oof.
And he's green in Sector 2 is Peaceful, so he's improved through that middle sector. I wonder if we can catch the back end of his lap. Here he is then. A lot of spray, really wet. Slides through the penultimate corner. Not as big a puddle through that. Oh, he's got on the grass. Yeah, he's got on the grass there, hasn't he? As he's hit the brakes. Yeah. He's gone back to the pits then. So X-Mark will stay P5. Peaceful will qualify in P6 then. Disco will be on the front row of the grid. Monkey Boy at P5 for him. That's not bad for Monkey Boy. Fury's coming to the pits then. And it will be a pole position for him. His first of the season. And an extra point for Fury in this one, so not a bad way to start this if you're Fury. What can he do though in this next race? So he's got a pole position to his name. That adds an extra pole position to the Mercedes, giving them 44 pole positions. But it's Fury on pole from Disco, Disco Face. Sutty set third with Monkey Boy fourth. X-Mark fifth, Peaceful sixth. And then BT Targa, the first of the non-qualifiers here, with Andy on P8. Ninth is Unorthodox. 10th is Gary. D-Biggs 11th. And Lidleach P12. Watch for Lidleach in the beginning part of this race, because I feel he could be a man to keep an eye on here. And